welcome everyone. This is the data entry, Survey 123 data entry training for the Pigeon Guillemot Breeding Survey. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you're here, that means that you've signed up to do some extra work for us, and we really appreciate that a lot. I know it takes some time out of your day each week to do that, and also to corral all of the data and make sure that it's accurate. So we really appreciate the extra time that you put in and just the care and making sure that everything's correct on the data sheet. So welcome. We're actually going to have Dave and Bets give the training this evening. Dave, Krause and Bets are the pros at data entry in the database. So I'm going to let them, oh, and I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Shannon Bolt, and I'm the Pigeon Guillemot Breeding Survey Program Coordinator. So I am going to hand it over to Bets. Are you going to take it first, or
over to Dave?
over to Dave first? Okay, so I'll let you take it away, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to start with just going to the website. Hopefully you can see this. So the training tonight is all about how to move the information from the beach data sheet to the Survey 123 input form and upload that form into the database. And you've probably, I think I recognize just about everybody who's logged in. So you've probably all been to the new website. And I want to take you to what we call the toolbox, where all the videos are and all the documents for how to operate the system and how to be a volunteer. So that is that's under volunteer and survey toolbox. I think I have an inability to make this work.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Wow. Okay, it'll be easier for you, I'm sure. So the survey toolbox has two sections, survey training videos, which those are basically the how to be a beach volunteer videos. And then the part we're going to be talking about tonight is this here Survey 123 data system training. So to get to that page, go get started. And the information for data entry users, which is what we're talking about tonight, is all of this block of information. And Shannon's recording this video, and if it meets quality requirements, we'll be posting it onto YouTube, and it'll be available right here in this entering data part, the watch part. We'll come back to here a little bit later, but all the forms, how-tos are right in this section. All right, so I am going to turn it over to Bets, who will show you how to put the first page of the BDS into the Survey 123 form.
Okay, so hopefully everyone can see this. I'm showing my desktop, and I have two things that you will need. On the right side, for me, is the Survey 123 app. And on the left side is a sample beach data sheet that has some data filled in, and we're just going to walk through entering that data. Hopefully everybody has actually signed in to Survey 123, but we're going to go ahead and sign in. And you see on this page that, oh, what happened? I lost it. Sorry, folks. just wanted to point out on this page, if you don't know your username or password, you can retrieve it here on the first login page. And when you actually get into the application, you're going to look a little different than my screen. You will all have this tile here, the Pigeon Guillemot survey form tile. Most of you won't have any of these other tiles. That's just for those of us who do additional chores in the system. But so you'll go in when you're ready to enter your data and open up the system, open up the survey and click on the collect button and you're ready to start. Now, some of us who have several people on a beach gathering data and they fill in their own beach data sheet and the lead will pull all that data onto one beach data sheet. So like for my Keystone colony, I have 3 people, each looking at a different area. I take their forms and consolidate their form with mine into one sheet that has all of the data together. And the first thing we have to do is look here. We've got for you a ZZZ sample colony for testing beach data sheet. And each region, once you've logged into your region, you'll have one of these testing colonies so that you can try out the system and not impact your actual beach data. So first thing you'll need to do when you go in, you'll see your name here, then you know for sure that you're logged in as you. Most people will just have one region authorized, but since Dave and I help out in various areas, we have all of the regions authorized. But even though you only have one region, you have to come into this list, and select your region. And once you're in that region, you can select a colony. And we go all the way to the bottom and you'll see the ZZZ sample colony. The next field is auto-populated by the system. It gives the location of your actual survey rather than the location of where you are when you're entering the data. And the next field you have to fill in, you'll notice like many systems, the asterisk shows the data points that you really have to fill in. So we're going to look at our data sheet and see that we're entering data for May 20th. Now it's today. And then we come down to the start time. And when you pull this down, you'll notice that right now, it's going to show up with the current time, which is 7:09 p.m. And so we started our beach data survey at 8 a.m. So we have to go here to change the data. Once you put yourself in the field, you can type in the number. You can use your tab key to move between the fields. And then we want to switch and select 8 a.m. And be careful to make sure you do the 8 a.m. because otherwise, if you enter it, your data could show up with wrong timing. So we go from 8 a.m. and our surveys here are 1 hour. So we put in 9 o'clock a.m. And we click on standard 1 hour survey. This is what everybody will use. There may be a rare occurrence where somebody does an extended survey, but it's not often. So we've put in the date and the time, and the next field we need to fill in here is the surveyor lead name. And you see the team lead here is myself. So I'll select myself. And then on the observers, you have to manually enter those. And just make sure if you're a lead and you are actually also watching, the birds and taking data, you have to include yourself in the list of observers. If you're not observing, then leave your name off, but most of us typically do so. There's that. And then the next field is our total volunteer time. And you see on the beach data sheet, we've got 10.5 hours. And this would be the total for all volunteers, including round trip travel, settling in to get ready for your survey, the hour that you're there, and then the data entry. So it's not just, if you have 4 people in a colony, it's a 4-hour survey. It's a lot more than that. We want to make sure the real effort that's going into it. So this place has 10.5 hours. And now we come down to the tide data, which is showing up here. And you see that the plus sign is circled. So we're going to select plus, and we're putting in 2.3 feet. And we see that the direction is incoming. Now, if you have a negative tide, rather than putting a negative 2.3 in this field, you would actually select the negative here and put the number here without the symbol. Then we have our Pigu counts, start, middle, and end. And we've got 47. You can use the tab key to go into these. You can use these, up and down indicators, but it's usually easier just to type it in and tab to the next. Pretty straightforward. So that's all of the top area of the data sheet. Now I'm going to scroll down on the data sheet to the general survey notes. So when we're adding general survey notes, we wanted to really just limit this to things that are interesting about a difference in behavior or what's impacted the birds. I know a lot of people like in the past used to put in things about description of the day and other things that they might have seen, but that isn't helpful data for us to track. We really need to track things like fog, which didn't allow me to see, all of the birds, or high wind causing waves that, makes it difficult to count. Things that may give you a outlier in your data. So we have one general survey note here to put in, and it's really about wind. And we're going to put in the wind chop, made it. And that's enough information to help out on why we might have only seen 2 birds instead of 50, sort of thing. So that's the end of the first page of the survey form in the app. And then we will go to the next page, and I'm going to turn it back over this. Oh, let me just make one note. This bar at the bottom, there's 2 bars at the bottom actually. And this bar in the purple area says 1 of 1. So that is 1 of 1 notes. But then you have a bar at the very bottom of the app that's 1 of 5. That's the page numbering. So we're on page 1 of 5. And I'm going to head over to page 2. And then I am going to let Dave talk to you about adding burrows and deliveries.
Thanks, Bets. I've been having this shaking thing going on for just recently, and I hope I'm able to actually click on things. So page 2 of the Survey 123 form is where you enter burrow visits and prey deliveries. And maybe at the beginning of the season, you won't have any burrow visits, and towards the end of the season, you won't have any burrow visits. So you might not be putting anything on this page. But we're gonna work the page with visits and deliveries. So when you have a burrow visit or a delivery, you click on this plus sign in Add Burrow, and you put the burrow ID, the burrow number that you're using in here. And the efficient way to do this, and in a way that reduces the number of errors, is to do exactly what you did on your burrow data sheet on your beach data sheet. So I imagine this was already covered for all of you, but the intention here on this burrow data sheet is to enter all of the visits and deliveries for a particular burrow in one line on the sheet. So everything in one line. And then, the next line is whatever the next burrow is. And if you do it that way, rather than, put a visit to burrow 3 here and then have burrow 3 appear again further down in your list, it just gets confusing, and it's hard to enter correctly, and it's hard to do quality control on it when you're done. So one line per burrow, please. If it's a really, really busy burrow, you may have to do another line, but generally not. Just write small. So our first burrow on the beach data sheet is burrow 3. So enter that. And everything that's in blue on this page has to do with burrow entry stuff. And everything that's in green is about the visits. So for burrow 3, we had 2 sculpin deliveries. So to enter a visit, you click the plus sign on the visits part here. And the first one, we'll do click sculpin. The time is 8:23. And AM. It helps to do this in the morning, so you don't have to worry about making sure you click AM. So there's our first delivery, and then to add another entry, you go to another page, so you click this plus sign here. So we have 1 of 1 right now. Click the plus sign. It clears the entry form, so you can add another one. So it's another sculpin. And the time is 8:34. AM. And there we've entered both of the deliveries for burrow 3. Down here, there's a little visit summary that shows you what you entered. You can do a quick check to see that aligns with what the beach data sheet shows, and looks like we did okay. So that's it for burrow 3. To add another burrow, so you can put in burrow 9, you come down towards the bottom of the page to this section that's in the blue area and click the plus, and that clears the information up here so you can add a new burrow ID. So this is 9, and we had a visit to burrow and a sculpin delivery. So we'll open up the visit section again. So we had a no prey visit at 8:15. And we had a sculpin delivery at 8:39. So again, we click this plus section in the green section, plus in the green section. And it thinks I forgot to enter something because I accidentally double clicked. click Sculpin and 839. And just like with the previous borough, you can come down here and see that you did in fact enter what you intended to. Looks good. So we'll go down here, click the Add a Borough section again, put Borough 2 in and the borough ID, open the Visits section. So we'll start with a Sculpin delivery at 8:45. And looks good. We'll open another page. We had a gunnel at 8:46. And we had another or an unknown prey type at 8:23. And you can go down here and see if you did okay, and it looks all right. So that completes normally what you would have to do on this page. You can have borough notes, if you want to put something in here. Maybe if you want to put some borough location information to allow someone to understand where that borough is a little bit better, like if there's some confusion about where its location might be. Usually this is blank, and the beach data sheet doesn't have a lot of space to put that kind of information in. Right at the bottom of the page here, there's some room. So I would use this sparingly, but it can be helpful. You can decide if there's something you need to put there or not. There's nothing required. You'll notice that there are trash cans here. If you inadvertently put in something, you can move using these arrows to the particular visit that you need to change. You could make a change, or you could just delete it if it was inadvertently put in. You can do the same with boroughs down here. You can move between boroughs, and you'll know what borough you're on by these changes as you move through. So borough 3 was the first one, borough 9, borough 2. So you can effectively and efficiently move around with using these arrows. And also you'll notice that the general notes appear on every page at the bottom. So you can enter those on any page. But I recommend just doing it like Bets showed, just doing it on the first page of the entry form. That is it for now for boroughs. There'll be a little bit more about this later. So I will stop the share and turn it back over to Bets so she can show you how to do the disturbances section. Bets, you're muted.
Sorry. Anyway, disturbances are on the page 1 of the data sheet, along with the general data. And we've entered, or the form's been set up with the most common type of disturbances that we see. eagles, beach walkers, motorized boats, etc. And then there's an unknown field, and then there's an other cause, which if you know what it is, you can write it in below. But so when we are taking the disturbance data, what we do is we find the type of disturbance it was. So there was an eagle disturbance, and it happened at 8:27. It started at 8:27 a.m. and ended at 8:35 a.m. And the Y here is to indicate that it ended before your survey ended. So I'm going to go to add a disturbance, and now we're kind of getting used to this whole format where we have a plus sign to open up the field. And the first disturbance was an eagle, and the start time was 8:27, lucky, a.m. And the end time was 8:35 a.m. And then down here, we have the the selection for whether the disturbance ended before the survey ended, and we say yes. Again, like with the boroughs and such, you can put in notes, but this is really the data that's necessary to keep track of the disturbances. And you see on this data sheet, we have two different disturbances. There was the eagle, and then we have a motorized boat disturbance. So we'll come down here, and like with the boroughs, you've got a bar at the bottom where we go and add another disturbance. And the type on this one is a motorized boat. And that's started at 8:47 a.m. And this is the interesting part. It happened after the survey ended, because our survey goes from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So, and the disturbance was still happening at 9 o'clock when we were done, in which case then you put in the end of the survey time as your end time. And because it could go on all day, you don't know for sure, right? And then we come down here and we say, no, it did not end before the survey ended. And then there is an actual note here saying that the motorboat through colony gathering area, PGs flew off. And so we see we have 2 of 2. And like Dave showed with the boroughs, you can arrow back through your disturbances. If you realize you've done something wrong or want to delete one, you can use the trash can and so forth. And that's how disturbances are managed. And now I'm going to take you to the next page, which is the page where we upload a photo of our data sheet. So what you want to do is get an image of your data sheet saved to your computer, so that you can upload it via the file upload. There is a handy little icon of a camera here, but we are asking people to not try to use their computer to take a picture of your beach data sheet, because it often just doesn't work very well. They're angled, or it doesn't get the whole sheet. And for our QA work, we really need a very good image of the data sheet. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. I usually bring mine home. I have a printer scanner, and I usually scan it on my scanner and save it to my desktop and then upload it. Some people will take an image with their smartphone and then email it to themselves to put onto their computer. And we've also found a tool called Genius Scan, which is a free app, and it does a really good job of taking an image of a sheet and then allows you to email it to yourself really quite easily. And there are notes on the website that talk about that Genius Scan app. So I've already taken images of these documents earlier, and once you have them on your computer, you'll just use the file upload and find those images. And you'll see here that these are actually JPEGs. And you don't see any PDFs here, but there are PDFs in this folder. However, the image type down here is only showing JPEGs and such. If you have your file saved as a PDF, you can click on the images box and go click on all files. Then you see that you've got your JPEGs and your PDFs all showing up. So you can use either JPEGs or PDFs. It doesn't matter which, but that's how you allow yourself to see the PDFs. So I'm going to click and take page 1. And we've uploaded it here. With a JPEG, you don't actually see an image. But if you, I'm sorry, with a PDF, you don't see an image. But if you do instead use JPEGs, you will see an actual image here on the app. If you feel you've uploaded the wrong file or whatever, you can again use the trash can to delete them and upload again. And I think that's about what we needed to put for those uploading of files. Dave, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, that trick that that Bets showed about when you're looking for the PDF that you put in the folder to upload, but when you click on that symbol for uploading, you don't, and you navigate to that folder and you don't see it, it can drive you crazy.
Yeah,
So
it can.
just remember that that it's only showing you this the application is only showing you image files initially, that you have to select it all files to see all the
Right,
files that are in your folder.
right, right, right.
I've only
And
done that about 50 times, I think. Where are my
right, and
files?
at the beginning of the year, every year, it's a problem. But I want to stress though that you try to, well, please make the best each data sheet that you can. I mean, make your writing very legible, and if you're erasing things, make sure it's a clean erasure or start over with a new page, because the people who go in to do the QA work on the data need to have a really good image to work from, and that's where these are coming from. Okay.
Yeah, Alan was asking if we had a preference for PDFs or JPEGs. And, quality wise, it doesn't really matter. I I would just say go with whatever you're most comfortable with.
Right. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Dave.
All right, share my screen again. All right, we're back to the Burroughs BDS page again on the left. Um, So we'll go to page 5. Page 5 is the last page of this form. And page 5 has two functions. One is it provides a final quality control check of what you've entered for the borough data. And it's also the page from which you upload this Survey 123 form into the database. So we highly recommend that you do a final check of the information that you entered for your boroughs. And it's pretty quick to do if your BDS is organized like this. So you can quickly, recheck borough 3, go, okay, that's correct. Look at borough 9. Yep, that information, that's what I intended. It's just why it is so important is because you don't have a way to change this information once you submit the data. That will be left up to someone doing the final quality check on the data before we tell Fish and Wildlife that, yeah, it's good. You can save all of this and archive it. And it's not really difficult for them to make changes, but you have to understand that they're probably looking at they could be looking at 100 different beach data sheets. And if there are a lot of changes to make, that gets pretty onerous. So we really recommend that everybody do this final check on the borough data, since it is probably the most difficult to enter, and it's easy to make a mistake. It's easy not to click the AM when you're entering data in the PM. And it's just easy to make an error. So that is that on quality. Now, down here on the lower right, there is this check mark, and that's how you submit when you're comfortable with all the data. This is how you submit it into the database. Click the check mark, and you have 3 options here. You can send it. Or you can go, oh, I didn't really mean to do that. I'm going to continue the survey. That'll just take you back to where you can make changes on your survey. The third option here is to save it in an outbox. And that allows you to go back to it later. It saves the information you have locally, and it allows you to go back to it and make changes or make additions later. Similarly, I'm going to click continue this survey. Up here, there's an X. If you click that, you have different options. You can close and lose changes, which is a trash can, basically. Say you were, for some reason, maybe you just completely got lost in entering data and you just want to start over. You could just click this and get rid of the whole survey. Or you can just go back to the survey because you didn't really mean to hit the X, or you can save it in drafts. And usually what I do is I click this X if I want to save it and check some information so I can finish the survey later, the data later. I do save in drafts. And you can see here that it saved it. If you go back here, you can go like that. You'll see that now there is something in drafts down here. This was the screen that Bets brought up where she first opened a blank survey form using the collect button. But I just saved what we were working on in drafts. So if you want to reopen this, say it's the next day and you got the data that you needed to finish it, you click it, click this, and it will load up the survey that you've been working on. So now it should be ready to save, but say you forgot to fill in a particular block. I'm going to get rid of this time if I can. Let's see. Maybe I'll get rid of something else.
The observers would be,
They're not, that's not a required box, I think.
oh,
I think. Let me look at it. Oh, it is. Okay. Thanks, Beth.
yep.
Okay, so we forgot to put in the observers. We're going to go back to page 5 and we're going to submit it. We think we've done everything right. I'm going to go back. Oops. Excuse me. Oh yeah. Okay. So we're going to click the submit button and it doesn't respond like you thought it would. You don't have an option to submit it to send now. That you didn't get anything. It just sent you back to page 1. And you kind of go, well, what happened? Why didn't this work the way it was supposed to? Well, it's telling you that there is some data that's missing. And I'm unable to scroll. My system's a little squirrely right now. There we go.
Here you go.
All right. So the missing data will be outlined in a red box. And you can enter the data. I'm not going to enter it all. I'm just going to put bets in here. And go back. And now when you hit it, it gives you the options to send it. I'm not going to send quite yet. I'm going to go back to the Burrows page. To show you, say when you were doing your quality control, you had an error in something. Let's say the Burrow 9, we'll move to Burrow 9, say that this no prey was actually a sculpin delivery. And you notice that when you were doing your quality control check on page 5. So you just navigate back to the Burrow and back to the right visit using these arrows, make the change, and that's it. Done. If you had put in if you put in a visit that didn't actually happen, you would navigate to that visit and delete it with the checkbox or the trash can. So it's pretty easy to navigate around in this, but only after you've done it for a while. It's not initially easy. At least I didn't find it initially easy. Okay, so I think we can send this now. There's not anything else I need to show. The first year we did this, once you sent it, that was it. You never saw the data again. There was no way of, it kind of went into a black box and that was it. But we have a way of seeing the data after you send it, and we'll go there after we upload this. All right, so that means it was successful. So now I am going to stop this share and bring up what we call the view only. I don't think there's a link to it here, but I'm going to bring up the view only dashboard.
I just added a link to the chat.
Thanks, Shannon.
There's also one on the website in the survey toolbox as well.
Okay, this is the view only dashboard. It's organized, you kind of move from left to right. And there's a little explanation here. If you click this arrow, it brings out little instructions, but you probably won't need them. So the survey we just submitted was for Whidbey. So we'll select the Whidbey region, and it was for the ZZZ test colony. So we'll scroll down, and there that is. And it was dated 5/20, and we have two of them. So not sure which one to pick. Pick this one. And so here we see the beach data sheets that were submitted. And this column has all the most of the page one information in it. The date, the start and stop time, the PG counts, and the high count. It's got the general survey note. Over here in the last column, it has the disturbances that you can click the arrows and see. Then finally the borough information, you click on a borough and the visit and delivery information comes up for each borough. So that is all the information that was submitted. And it's nice to have because sometimes you just kind of wonder, once you hit that send now, what actually happened. So it's a check that if you want to feel more confident about what's happening, you can go to the view only dashboard and see what happened, see what you submitted. We recommend that if you haven't submitted before, that you do pretty much what we just did. Open yourself, go to your region, whatever region you're attached to, in survey 123, and open a new survey 123 survey form and enter a bunch of information and submit it. And probably start with a pretend beach data sheet that you've filled out and see if you can do that successfully. Or alternatively, I'll bring up the website again, the pigeonguillemot.org website. So you can go to the survey toolbox again, go to survey 123 data system training. And there's a practice submission here. This example data sheet opens up a each data sheet. Can you see that, or do you still see do you see a sample beach data sheet?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you can use that sample and oops. And you can compare it against Can you see the page 5 of Survey 123 form?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you can compare after you've entered that information on that sample beach data sheet, you can compare it against uh, this to see if you did it right. So, see if there was anything else. I think that's it.
You know,
Is that covered?
there's a comment from Darcy on using the Survey 123 phone app to be the most efficient way to submit data in the data sheet. And that's great. I think that we've found that if you are collecting data where there's a lot of different boroughs and visits, it can get a little bit difficult using the iPhone to do that. So yeah, you know, more power to you if you can get it and do it all accurately. That's great. But I think we've found in the past that it maybe is better to do the data entry on the computer. However, maybe you found a way to just upload the photos, and that's great.
I did. I tried using my laptop. I probably spent 2 hours last year trying to figure that out, and it didn't go well. So I found comparatively it was much faster and easier to use my phone.
Yeah, Darcy, are you saying use your phone not on the beach, but like when you're done
Once
with
I
the
get
survey?
home and I get the information from my um, partner, yeah, I don't do it
Yeah,
from the beach. I'd never recommend trying to handle all that while you're sitting in your car at the beach. No, I do it at home usually in the evening after all the information's come in.
yeah. The
Thanks
phone
for
app
that
works fine.
clarification.
Yeah, but like Bets was saying, it usually on the beach, if you're trying to do it on the beach, it usually focuses too much of your attention on your phone and not enough on the bluff.
Yeah.
No, no,
And
I definitely would never, let all that information get solid.
Yeah.
one other thing for all of the new folks, we really encourage you to come home from the beach and try to get your data entered as quickly as possible. Mostly because, you know, if you put it down and wait for a couple days and gather, or a couple weeks even, and gather up beach data sheets, you might forget about something. And when you go to enter that data, you'll notice there's a gap, and it's so hard to go back and fill in that gap in data. So we just encourage everybody to do it as soon after you're done on the beach as you can.
And there are also, so that has to do with your work, but there's also a lot of work involved that you don't see that isn't as much work if you get um, your survey submitted right away. There is a lot of behind the scenes administrative work that goes on, and if you're holding on to your surveys and not submitting them in a timely fashion, that administrative work gets to be a lot more. So help us out, basically, is what I'm saying.
I think too, we're able to catch when maybe there's a wrong borough number or more than one name is being given to the same borough. We can usually catch that early in the season versus having that error extend through the season. So if we can catch that early, like right after it happened, then we can sort of send you a message and say, hey, maybe you can change it this way, or we can catch things sooner before you're having to fix it on every single data sheet. So,
Yeah, one common mistake, and it's kind of a new thing we've been doing, and I know this was covered in the beach data sheet section, but limiting IDs for boroughs to 3 characters, no more than 3 characters, and only capital letters, and or numbers. They can be mixed, but if they're letters, only capitals and numbers. No special characters at all.
Mhm.
What else? Anything else?
The other questions.
I enjoyed seeing a lot of familiar faces that have become less familiar. So nice to
And
see you all.
that phone from Ricky. Yeah, I guess folks can try which method they try the two different methods and see which one works the best for you.
Yeah, it's nice to have options.
I,
Yeah.
I do have one question or a comment. When I did my training last week, I was told that everybody had to use pen. So maybe pencil is okay, or, I don't know.
Pencil is okay but whoever is doing the digitizing of the data sheets, if so long as they can get a good legible copy, then that's okay. But if
Okay.
you're but if you're using like a really hard lead that's a tiny diameter, maybe not. So just be smart about how you do that, and
Okay.
there's no requirement from us on that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe that was a past requirement, not sure. I mean, now we used to hang on to all the beach data sheets, piece of paper, but we're not really doing that, so.
Yeah, I think if everyone just checks their file before they submit it and make sure that it's legible, um, and make sure you're writing neatly and pressing hard enough. I know some mechanical pencils, those will show up really well, almost like pen. So I tend to use those when I'm filling out data sheets. And that Genius Scan app I found does a really, really good job of cleaning up data sheets.
It
It just,
makes
I
it,
don't know how it does it, but it looks like a scan versus
it
a cell phone photo. And so it does an amazing job. I would highly recommend checking out Genius Scan.
I also do. It's really easy to use and does a great job and
Yeah.
doesn't require anything but your phone.
And
Yeah.
it'll cut out, like if your shoe was in the photo, that gets cut out. It
Yeah,
zooms in on the data. So
it
it's
just zooms in, it recognizes a page and cuts it.
So we anticipate, the program can be a little bit clunky. And even though Dave and Betts made it look really simple, it can trip you up. It trips all of us up. And like they said, every year we pretty much have to relearn what we're doing. So we anticipate that folks are going to run into some issues and some roadblocks and probably want to pull your hair out. Don't hesitate to reach out either to your regional coordinator, to one of us. We're very happy to help you get through that because we don't want anyone being really frustrated and throwing their computer out the window or cursing survey 123. Most times we can figure out what's going on and we can help you guys get back on track and get it working again. So check out the view only dashboard link that's working, that you can get into that. And like Dave and Beth said, do some practice surveys, make sure everything's working properly and you can log in. And if not, just reach out right away and we'll get you going again. So let's see, are there any other
Oh, I
questions?
had a question. Is this the same as last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
It didn't look different to me when I tried it, so I was just
no change.
Should be
okay.
the same. Yeah, I found that mine didn't open this year when I went to go log in, so I had to uninstall, reinstall, re-log in. Sometimes people forget what their password is, in which case you have to go in and reset your password on that initial login page. So that's something to try if it's not working. We have a lot of little tricks that we try. Sometimes we don't know either, but we'll try to help you work through it. So, and get it going again.
Bets is really, if you're having trouble just getting the app installed, Bets is really our expert on that.
It seems like all the new names I got had no trouble this year. It was
Yeah.
really great. It happened really quickly and I had very little questions, very few.
Yes, that was great. Yeah, so
Well,
thank you everyone again for being here and for signing up to be data responsible folks. We appreciate all you do, and very special thanks to Dave and Bets for lending their expertise and taking time to walk us through this process tonight. You guys are amazing. I can't understate that, so or overstate. Did I say that wrong?
I was.
One of those two.
Yeah, thanks for attending, everybody. I hope it
Yeah,
helps, and yeah, do get in there to just make sure you've got
gonna
access.
try.
Thanks, you guys. Awesome.
So much. And I hope everybody has a wonderful season and have fun out there.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We'll see some of you next week if you have editing responsibilities too.
Right. That's right. Next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 7 p.m. will be QA/QC training. So that's only for the folks that are doing the behind the scenes QA/QC. Hopefully you know who you are. And so, yeah, we'll see those folks next week.
Good night.
Hey,
You
thanks.
guys.